And I hope you're enjoying ETHDenver. My name is Jason Nelson. I'm a reporter with Decrypt. And joining me today is Stacy Spikes, founder of MoviePass, and we're going to talk about decentralized film. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. It's good to see you guys.
So to start off, just wanted to highlight that you are the author as well of the book Black Founder, about your experience in the industry. And I think that's probably a great place to start is how has your time in the industry changed from when you first got started to now, and how has decentralized finance factored into that?
Wow, so technology keeps speeding up faster and faster and faster, and the changes just are light speed. It's almost like it used to be once a year there was something that happened. Then it was once every 6 months. And now it's inside of a week, if not days. It's like, if you guys didn't see where literally Microsoft launches a quantum chip and announces it, and 48 hours, Amazon mentions a quantum chip. The last time anybody talked about quantum was when China had built their quantum computer, which was a few years ago, and we've been talking about AI, and then it's like that. And news cycles are 24. Our social, like the panel before talking about the different social features, and it's crazy. My Telegram and my WhatsApp and everything is around the clock now. And the conversations are not just in America. I'm literally having global conversations. That's all what's really been such a big change, is the speed at which things move and change.
I was speaking with Roman Coppola earlier, and we were talking about, basically, because you have Web3, and then you have what's known as Film 3, which is the film industry version of it. And we were talking about how it's different than the traditional Hollywood structure because it's far less centralized. Yeah. Anyone can finance a film now. But how, in your opinion, do you think DeFi film financing is different from traditional, say, Kickstarter or any platforms like that?
Yeah, so the term we've been playing around with, which is what we call DeFiFi, Decentralized Film Finance. And what I think is going to happen is, I think you're still going to have distribution companies that need to push it out in the marketplace, but to date, you really didn't have the ability to have back-end participation on films. So now with smart contracts, you have that capability. So Kickstarter never really grew to the scale it could have, because how much money are you going to give if you're never going to see it back, right? Okay, maybe I'm going to pull out $1,000 because it's my niece or nephew, but other than that, you're not going to give too much money. And so the average film was raising below $25,000. Well, how many good films do you know are made off of $25,000? And you'd see a Spike Lee be able to pull, I think he pulled $300,000 or $400,000 down, and that's Spike doing it. So I think now you're going to see that open up a lot more than before.
Yeah, I think Spike Lee and maybe Robert Rodriguez are probably the only people who could put out a blockbuster for $25,000. But when you're looking at the different aspects of Web3, because it's not just crypto, there's NFTs, there's different types of blockchains. You know, you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. I mean, you walk out on that stage, you're going to see any 100 number crypto projects. So how do we direct all of this technology towards someone's project? Because what would you say is the best thing for a filmmaker to do, to say, here I am, look at me?
So I think there's Web3, and then I'm going to pull AI into the conversation. So I think I break it up into three pieces: financing it, making it, and then marketing it and go to market. And I think that Web3 has the beginning of it and the end of it. And then I'll come into the middle. The beginning is, I can move digital money in ways that I can do trustless contracts so that everybody, because everyone's afraid of Hollywood because you're going to lose your money. So that is where I think the banking and moving finances around is very mature there. On the marketing side, whether it's NFTs or proof of attendance or rewards or badging or gamification related to, we were having a conversation earlier when Christopher Nolan did Batman. They took the very first trailer with Heath Ledger, and Heath had not been seen as a Joker yet. And I was in New York when this happened, and literally they gave coordinates. They didn't tell you it was at a theater or anything. They just drop shipped 2 coordinates, and they had a flash mob of 1,000 people who showed up, and they were the first ones in. They told them, go sit down. They didn't tell them what it was, and they were the first people who saw it. Now, if you wanted to reward those people later, you can do that with Web3 technologies. If you do it Web2, you're doing it through email, right? So the finance and the marketing, Web3 is kick-ass for that. The AI components in the middle of it, we're seeing how fast that's coming. I mean, that stuff's just crazy. That's bringing the cost down so fast. I mean, we run one of the largest film festivals in the U.S., and we're already seeing full films completed from voice to text. Text to video. It's nuts. So.
Well, do you think that Web3 could allow creators to just bypass the studio system altogether? Because we saw Gala Films put out Razor last year, and it was nominated for an Emmy.
Yeah.
So, and that was completely inside the Web3 space.
So, getting people's attention is really hard and costs a lot of money. Making a movie is one thing. Cutting through the noise, it's cute to do that every now and then, but you need you are negotiating for that screen space. And if you are I'm going to call you a producer. If you are a production company, as you move up, you either have to do that distribution yourself, and then you're a studio, or you need to go to a studio. So Disney, for example, Disney Studios is like a holding company or a bank. And then Buena Vista Distribution is the thing that actually puts it in theaters and then retrieves the money back. They're under the same umbrella, but they're 2 different entities. In time, the muscle to get you distribution is like, should I sign with XM satellite radio, or should I go to Spotify? Because you're going to get that climb up. It's no different than which exchange to be listed on. Should I be layer 1? Should I be layer 2? Should I be Solana? Should I be whatever? Those are studios. So I think that never really goes away, some version of that. You just need muscle in the market.
Well, let's talk a little bit about how Web3 can benefit small creators. Because one of the things that we're still dealing with is representation in Hollywood. And I'm not talking about on the screen, I'm talking about behind the camera. Yeah. People who are actually making these movies. Does Web3 open the door for more people of color, more women, more minority groups to get involved in the film industry?
So historically, and having been in the movie industry long enough, genre films outperform marketplace. So if you pick a swim lane, you have a group that really will go because it's community to them. So if you pick horror, if you pick comedies, and if you pick black or brown comedies, they disproportionately, pound for pound, sorry, my eyeglasses are ringing. I'm like, wait, what's going on?
All right, Meta, we're not talking about you.
Yeah. All of a sudden I hear my phone ringing in my eyeglasses, and I'm like, wait, why is it? So if you remember New Line Cinema, and you remember when Miramax created Dimension and Warner Brothers, well, those films had lower budgets, but they always punch way above their weight class. They're
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn, all of the, the hood comedies, everything. So if you want to win, you will go there faster if you go with the community, okay? And black and brown communities or genre disproportionately is a great place to go. With Web3, my feeling is that now people who are hesitant to put money in are going to be more likely to put it in because they're going to get that money back. And I think you can see more funding happen from the community level versus you still got to go to the studio to get it done. That is where I think it'll take off and have a lot of big advantages.
Do you think you're going to see more people get involved with Web3 now that, especially in the United States, we have what appears to be a more friendly regulatory environment? Do you think that's going to make a difference?
Well, I'm going to answer it from a business perspective. The panel before was talking about so much of it is just too hard. That has to change. That has to drop. We received an investment and we did a major deal on the SWE blockchain. And SWE prides itself on using social login. So I can now log in to SWE like I can to my Gmail. Why is that taking so long to get to that point? It's like there's so much pride in wanting to be different that Web3 prides itself on making things difficult when it really needs to get that barrier down fast. Then I think it should be ubiquitous. Whether I drive to Walmart or I buy from Amazon, which is going to get it to me faster and cost me the least amount of money. So it took 20 years, but Amazon just surpassed Walmart in sales. So Web3 has to be cheaper, better, faster. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Let's go a little bit back into your history with MoviePass, because that was one of the first subscription models for movies.
It was the first. The first.
But
in the U.S.
Do you think that we could see something similar with NFTs and crypto in that type of structure?
For a subscription?
For a subscription. So like, say I wanted to go to Look Cinema. Can I show them my NFT? And they say, okay, come on in, something like that.
I mean, I think it's whether it's a QR code or a badge or an NFT, as long as it's easy. Remember, that ticket taker needs to take their phone, scan it, and their phone's going to chirp, and that's all they care about. So keep it simple, make it fast and easy, then yes, that will absolutely work. If it's more complex and the ticket taker can't figure out how to log into their wallet to go check your NFT, it's never going to fly.
What do you think is the most transformative thing coming to not only the entertainment industry, but to decentralized finance for film? What do you see in the future?
I mean, my thing is, I really think, I'm going to use music for a moment. Imagine friends of Jay-Z in Brooklyn were able to put in money on chain on his first album. And imagine Jay-Z in his smart contract said, every time I'm raising money for my next album, I let the people who were in last time, I let them in first. And I cap how much money I'll take from the community. He'll never have to raise money anywhere ever again. That is what's about to happen. I think that's going to happen for film. I think it's going to happen for music. And I think that what's beautiful about that is the money is going to come back to the community it goes from, rather than being extracted from the community and it never goes back. I went and spoke, Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson had a New Zealand film festival, and they had me as their opening keynote. And they didn't know what I was going to talk about. They were just like, talk about whatever you want. And I started talking about Web3 and film financing. And I said, imagine if Peter Jackson had let everyone in Lord of the Rings in New Zealand finance it, they'd all be rich. New Zealand does $250 million in tourism just from people who want to go see where Lord of the Rings was shot. $200 million a year in New Zealand. That's not the movies, that's not streaming, that's not any of that. Now imagine that little island if the money was there. No, that money went to Warner Brothers. It didn't, it went to Burbank. And so that's where you can take talent and the funds get extracted. And so what I believe the most powerful thing with AI coming to wipe out a lot of jobs is where you're going to want to put your money is in entertainment at blockchain level, ground level, is my opinion. That's going to change the entertainment industry like never before.
And it's interesting that you mentioned AI because I've covered the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes in 2023, but you're seeing AI coming into the Web3 space just like never before. I mean, everyone has an AI agent now. Yeah. Do you see that as being something that creators, filmmakers could take advantage of as well?
Yeah, I don't know how you. So everybody probably knows the Prince story, but if you don't, I'm going to tell it real quick. Prince Rogers Nelson, aka Prince, or the artist formerly known as, he was a teenager, and Prince went. So they had heard about him at Warner Brothers, and the agent, there was a demo, and they asked him, who were the bandmates on your album? He said, it was all me. And he said, what are you talking about? He brought the agent to his house, to his bedroom, where he showed him a Tascam drum machine, a 4-track recorder, a Korg M1, his guitar, and he showed him how he did each of the instruments. He produced his entire first album from his bedroom and got a record deal and signed. That's what AI is about to do to the movie industry. And so it doesn't matter how you make it. It matters, can you tell a story that gives people goosebumps, that they'll want to watch. So what digital music did for recording, you can now make an album on your iPhone, right? Kids are doing it now. That is going to happen to filmmaking.
Awesome. Well, Stacy, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. Everyone, thank you for coming and hope you enjoy ETHDenver.
Thanks, guys.